world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
For us to clarify one and consent for all, so that other members who have not spoken can take it from there.
Honorable member, I think what he is saying is you are part of the selection committee. Listen to your comments, and then you people who are members will come and now address their concerns. If you talk, others, if you leave it out, somebody else will pick it from there.
Speaker, I am a member from Ulindum constituency, and I think I have right to speak my mind.
You still have the right. No, it was just a suggestion. You still, if you want to continue, you can please continue.
Yeah, of course, I wanted to continue. I just wanted to, buttress more on what they've said on the nomination of Honorable Sidinjai as chairperson, just to throw out the sentiments coming from members with regards to that. Some of my colleagues have said the composition of the committee, selecting a chairperson of the committee. In the 5th legislature, we have somebody who is the chairperson who has a security background. And I've had Honorable Member from Parliament say the last legislature, the Security and Defense Committee was not effectively functioning. So if you have somebody who has security background and security committee at the National Assembly was not functioning, what is stopping this National Assembly to select somebody who has no security background to lead that committee? As per his submission, I said. So I think it is wise for us. The member that they are identifying is already a member in that committee. The chairperson position is nothing for me. What is more important is you have qualified members in the committee to support the chairperson to do the job. That is more important. So for me, it's not about pointing finger to an individual to say he should not be a chairperson to that select committee or that standing committee. It's about the composition. Let's talk about the composition. Do we have the right people in that committee to do the job effectively, but not to point finger to an individual to say he is not supposed to be the chairperson? Honorable Speaker, this is what I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Ulindum. We now have the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also highlight some of the issues that have already been discussed. Well, for me, I just want to make a little contribution concerning about this whole issue. I think first of all, I have to thank the selection committee for selecting people into various positions, because this is not an easy job, because whereby all the National Assembly members have to tender their CVs before anything is done. So what I just want to say is I just want to make a personal appeal to National Assembly members that let's see our country, that is the Gambia. We should see Gambia. The moment when we enter in this building, what we're supposed to see is Gambia. We should not see our party. We should not see our consequences. What we should see is the Gambia. What is most important, that is the composition for me. Though I already tender my CV, though I'm a health professional by profession, I'm a health worker by professional, and also on education, on sports, on media, different aspects. but I cannot be in all this committee. So what is important, if you find yourself in 1 or 2 committees, what is important, you should just work as a team. I think here the most important thing is the composition. Being the chairman does not mean that whatever you say should stand. Sometimes a chairman can be in a committee. The members are more effective than the chairman. So I want members to understand, because we have been just going around the same perimeter since in the morning up to now. You know, it seems the assembly is in a limbo, and we should not be in a limbo. This is just the beginning of the journey. So I am urging members, let's respect the selection committee, the decision made by the selection committee. You know, we can just, you know, come up with our opinions, but this is a responsibility assigned to them. So, but if you want to see other way around, so we'll make life difficult for us. So thank you. This is my contribution.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West. We now have the Honorable Member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the chance. Most of the things that I wanted to say have been highlighted by my colleagues, but I just still have a few things that I want to dwell on, especially in the aspect of security. Now, when you look at security, in most cases in our arguments, we center everything on background and experience. It is very important to have the background of a particular issue. But regarding the experience, once we have a member of that committee who have the experience, will able to help the chairperson, whether he has the experience or not, in carrying out that function. And you can only realize a weakness of that particular committee if they are not working together. And regarding defense and security is one of the most important things, especially in the rural Gambia. Sometimes when we talk about defense and security or high crime rates, we center everything in the combos here, or we center everything in the urban areas here. But the rural Gambia, they are also suffering, especially the constituency where I come from. There is a particular area where you know that almost every academic year, there are some people who will launch an attack to that particular village, and still now it's happening. You go to Nyani, the same thing. You go to Sami also, there are certain areas where you also have the same thing there. The background here is very important, but for experience, if the inexperienced ones are not given the chance to experience, when will they have the experience? The inexperienced ones must be given the chance to experience, so as for them to have the experience. So on that note, I thank you for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyani. We now have the Honorable Member for Sanimentary.
The Honorable Speaker for giving me the floor. And there are some points that I've already observed and I would like to bring to the National Assembly here. And some points, which is one of the points, which is the gender equality. I think this needs to be taken very, very, very carefully. I appeal to the selection of committee to look into this properly, because drawing back to the voters registration, which our own elections has just passed, the female, I would say women, has participated a lot in voting for us, definitely. The registration, when you go to the IEC registration center, for example, when you check with IEC, women are the majority who registered in that sector. And chairing the committees, the subcommittees that the selection of committee has just formed, I think they should also allow the women to chair some of the committees. And also the newly elected members needs to be considered for chairing some of the subcommittees. As some of my colleagues mentioned right away, that if you're not given the chance to learn, I'll quote the former Honorable Majority Leader for from Combo South, Honorable KKB, came into that position, which is the majority leader or the ECOWAS parliament, when he just got newly into the parliament. And if they did not allow us to start counting from one where he started and then learn to Z or 100, then it means we don't have an experience. And I think which is not fair to the newly elected members as well. And coming down to I also commend Madi Sisi to head the ACP-EU Parliamentary Assembly delegation and need clarification. I also need clarification from the selection committee why Honorable Abdullahi Sisi is chairing the committee when Madi was already there during the last legislative. And I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring. We now have the Honorable Member for Combo East. Combo East, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I have an observation here on page 10, that is list of international parliamentary delegation and membership. My observation here is the select committee, as my colleague, Honorable Member for Foni Councillor said. It's like they've fitted themselves very well in this.
Honorable Member, you said page 10, committee number. What's the number of the committee you're talking about?
The heading 4, headline 4, list of international parliamentary and delegation membership. Looking at the selections from 1 to 8 has clearly indicated that the selection committee were there to serve themselves first. And I'm not pointing it out to single out individuals, but collectively. And having seen this, it's like there has been a common reference to the new elected National Assembly members as newcomers. But we also came into the National Assembly with our diverse experience. And we are able to deliver, and we can. And then getting back to the selection, getting back to page 3, number 7, the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, which, as per my CV, I find myself well fitted in this than any other committees that I may be spotted in. So, looking at this, to me, I'm advising the committee to get back to the drawing board and revisit this to check. And then the national interest matters most. We should consider it with due diligence to be able to fix out people in their areas of competence, to be able to deliver and serve the country much better than fitting out people to take a choice that you might not want to. We've given out our CVs, and then they have clearly stated, if there is anything to doubt for, invite the member and then take it up with him to find out. But the expertise here, the way people have been slotted in these committees, I found myself to be very unfitting in some of these areas, and I want it to be revisited for better services. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Combo East. We have Honorable Nominated Member Maimuna Sise.
She's out.
She's out.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
We have Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Assalamu alaikum to each and everyone present here. Before going further, I would just want to commend the selection committee for a job well done, but also to remind each and every one of us here that there's a saying that goes, a problem that is not solved is still a problem, but a problem that is solved is no more a problem. And I believe this is the situation that we are facing right now as a team. So in that regards, I believe it is important for the selection committee to go back to the drawing board, to consider and also recognize the importance of representation. Because looking at the different committees, I believe competence, it is very key as far as representation is concerned. Based on the list that is page 10, the list of international parliamentary delegations and membership, understanding the CV that I provided based on my profile, and not seeing myself as part of none of these committees or delegation is a very big surprise based on the experience that I have. If you don't know, my fellow honorable members, I've served internationally as far as I was a public servant working with the Banjul City Council, and I've been responsible, or I was the focal person between a city in China, that is Nanin City, and the Banjul City Council, which have yielded dividend in terms of, more especially during the COVID. And I believe it is something that needs to be considered as far as going through our profiles are concerned, because being a member of this delegation is not only to go there and do whatever, but to be there, to be of profit, I can say, to the country. Because people should understand the international protocols. And this has nothing to do with sentiment. And I believe all of you will concur with me that understanding issues, more especially international issues, is very important. I don't want to name names here on the list, but I believe, like I said before, it is very important for the selection committee to go back and sit down and see how best they can go back to our profiles and see how best they can come up with very good representation in terms of our international delegates. Page 12 of the report, the list of parliamentary friendship groups. I saw myself within the group that says Gambia Franco Friendship Group. I indeed appreciate that group, but I think I am more fit understanding the issues between Gambia and China to be part of the Gambia-China Friendship Group. This is my appeal to the selection committee. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Banjul North. We now have the Honorable Nominated Member, Maimuna Sise.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to dwell on a little bit about what my colleagues have been emphasizing here. First of all, thank the selection committee for doing this wonderful job. This world is not balanced. Not everybody will get it on their own way. But at least we have to have the understanding and harmony between ourselves. Not everybody can serve in every various committee or a particular committee of your choice. But when it comes to the interest of the National Assembly and the people we are serving here, we have to give consideration to so many things. I would like to refer to Honorable Member for Kiang West, who was against the five members of the female candidate in the National Assembly. That is not balanced. They need a balance in it. I just want to put it to this section on the right. Gender and children is our domain. And you don't want us to be left behind. That's where we are curtailed definitely our representation there, because out of the 23 committees, we have the representation of only 9 committees where the female representatives are actively in. So by sharing that position, or 5 of us in that one committee, I don't think there should be a problem for that. So definitely, I would like the committee members to understand that these are the various positions we also will do better, and we can dwell so many things on it. We know ourselves better. When the last paragraph will go in for it is, this National Assembly, we would like us to be very decorum when we come to deliberations. We have to respect each and every one of us here. We all are an adult, we are responsible people to be here. And we all know our missions, why we are here. We cannot be looking at eyes of each and every one of the attacking or which nobody would like to say it. I think today is the first day, and we are learners, and I think when we want to learn something, we want to learn it in a better way. 2 of the comments were not very favorable, which come from the 2 Kiankas, which I just want them to see, at least. Starting from you, yes, you withdraw, excuse me, please, allow me to finish, please.
Honorable members, I have said address all concerns to the chair. Please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We have to deal with a decorum here, and we have to be very civil when you come to deliberations. We have to respect each other. This is party politics has to step behind at the annex over here. We are here to represent the people of the Gambia. Let's see us as a very responsible and very formidable forces who can put this country first before the politics. Please, Sidou Njie is a Sidou Njie of Gambia, and Sidou Njie been serving in any of these committees. I think he has the prerogative to be there. It depends on the committee he want to serve. But by attacking on his personality, I don't think it doesn't tell well. Especially my colleagues, I just wanted to put that one to you guys. Thank you. Honorable, I pay my seat.
Thank you, honorable nominated member. We now have the member for Upper Salem.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much also for all the honorable members that actually have contributed so far to the debate in confirming the draft selection of the committees that we actually have. Honorable Speaker, this is not an easy task. We are dealing with about 58 members with varying profiles, varying experiences in life. For them to just come up and then put everybody in a category is not an easy task. And we must thank them for giving it a try. What we have actually is a draft. It's not final. And it's upon us to make suggestions to them based on what we know, based on the experience, based on the education, or based on where you think you can actually fit. That's all, nothing else. This is just a suggestion that they have. It is not a perfect document, but it's up to us to make it perfect so that we can move forward and work together as a team. The effectiveness of any committee or the productivity of any committee does not rest in the hands of the chairperson or the vice chairperson or the rapporteur. It is the responsibility of all the members that must work together to understand the remits of the committee itself and work together to move this nation. It does not depend on the chairperson or the vice chairperson of the committee. It does not. I give an example. I was in the Finance and Public Accounts Committee for the past 5 years. I was not the chairperson, I was not the vice chairperson, and I was not even the rapporteur. But most of the reports in here, I'm the one that presents the reports and defended the reports. And I was not the chairperson, I was not the vice chair, and I was not the rapporteur. It is about teamwork. It is about us bringing whatever you know, experience, education on the table. We share, we shape our reports and move on. Nothing to do with the chair. The chair was the Speaker of the Parliament. The Vice Chair was Honorable Sidia Jato. But because of the way the FPAC work together as a team, everybody brings what you know on the table, we take those and share it, and then shape the affairs of this committee. In fact, and that's why I say, you must understand the remits of the committee first, before you say, this one is not fit, or I'm fit here, or I'm fit there. To give you another example, I can fit in about 10 committees in this parliament here, and I will do work very well. But I cannot be in all those committees. I cannot. Because if you look at the Public Enterprises Committee, and I think I can fit there very, very, very well. But I cannot be in there, be in FPAC, be in education, etc., etc. I know you not allow me. I know that. So, but that's what it is. We must be content sometimes. We must also understand the limitations. Because the more committees you are in, I can tell you, the more you may be ineffective. Because some of these committees' work is very demanding. That one I know. So I think what we can do, let's see where we think we can fit best. We give the suggestion. And then they come back to finalize the document so that we can all work together. But I can tell you from experience, the effectiveness of the committee does not rest in the hands of the chairperson. And we have changed chairpersons here. When they are ineffective, we change them, we remove them, and put somebody who will be very effective in really driving the force of the particular committee. We can do that. Standing Order 98 gives us that the power to do that. So I can tell you, don't have any fear about anybody here. As a person, you are elected, we are all equal here. It's the responsibility of our constituency that put us here, and that of the president for the nominated members, because of the trust they have in us. But it doesn't mean that anybody will drive you as a dictator. No. We must work together, and we must stand our ground to ensure that the remits of this committee is actually respected, and what the country wants as far as the Gambia is concerned, we respect that and we do exactly that. There will be no dictatorship in this parliament here, none. Honorable Speaker, I think there are two committees that I just want to give a suggestion to the committee. One is about the gender committee. We know the honorable member for Central Body. We know, we worked together here for the past 5 years. He's my in-law, very good one for that matter. But he's very particular about his gender committee. And we have about 8 members right now. And I would suggest that we add him there to make it 9. Because he's really very active about gender activities and stuff like that. We are making a suggestion that we can add him on that particular committee. And the other one is about the member for Kiang, Honorable Gassama, also about the education committee. We were there together as a team. He has a lot of experience, and I worked together. He was the chair of the committee, and I was the vice chair of the committee. And we worked so well together as a committee. So I think it's important that we can bring him back into the committee, where we see where we can actually remove him from another one and put him back, or reduce the number.
Honorable member, your first suggestion was for Saho to be
on the gender committee.
And then the other one
is about the member for Kiang East to be a member of the education committee.
Member of education?
Yeah.
Okay, you can continue.
Yes, well, that's up to him. I'm just suggesting for him to be there wherever he wants to get himself. Maybe he can say that, yeah. So it's based on, Honorable Speaker, based on the experience we had on that particular committee, because I worked with him together. He was the chair, I was the vice chair, and we worked so well together. And I know we have a lot on the table that we really need to put back here for plenary. And I think it's going to be important that we at least have 2 or 3 members. Because if you look at it now, it looks like I'm the only returning member of the committee. Everybody else actually has been removed. So I'm the only returning committee on that committee for education. So I think it's important that we bring him back. Then on the issue with international delegation, particularly with ECOWAS, we need to be very careful here. The selection of members of any international committee rests on us here as plenary. The selection committee gave us a list in 2017. By way of motion from the majority leader, we confirmed that committee. And we sent them to ECOWAS, we sent them to Pan-African Parliament and other international delegations. And when they were going, we took a letter along with us, telling us that these are the 5 members that will represent the Gambia in a particular committee for a period of 5 years, 2017 to 2022 to be exact. We took those letters along. If there's any supplementary changes on the standing of the ECOWAS, changing from 5 years to 4 years, but our letter from the Gambia says you are for 5 years. This would have come back to Gambian Parliament and says, no, we are only accepting 4 years. Have they done that? You see, what we decide here, in the government parliament here, in plenary here, cannot be overridden by any other parliament. This is us. When you look at their rules, it's kind of very interesting that even the African Parliament that I was a member of, by the time I'm sworn in, my membership of the African Parliament is dissolved, it's finished. That's what we have as a member of the Pan-African Parliament. The moment I'm going for elections, I am no longer a member of the Pan-African Parliament. And if I win re-election and the government parliament decides to send me back, then I can be a member. That's the only time I can be a member. So it's the same thing that would apply. It's plenary that decided the membership of ECOWAS in 2017. We agreed here by way of motion by the majority leader. He's the one that is the motion. The motion passed that 5 of them will represent us in the ECOWAS parliament for 5 good years. Those 5 years has elapsed, and it's upon us now to pick another 5. If you want to take the same people back to them, it's up to us. If you want to change, it's up to us. And that's what we call, we are the one that will recall. It's 2 things. You recall or you remove. You remove when you lose an election. When somebody loses an election, you are actually removed from the parliament. But by way of motion here, we can recall. That is, we want to change, we want to amend the people that we sent. That's up to us, we decide. If you want to take them back, it's up to us. But by way of this motion, by way of this plenary here, we are the one that will decide. Not ECOWAS, nobody else can decide that for us. We will decide that here. And it's up to us. No amount of amendment in their protocol or standing orders would actually change that. It cannot change that. It's our own here that will decide who we send, not any other one that will decide who we send. It's us that will decide that. So we must understand that, and we must work together as a team. You know, being in this international delegation is just a privilege. It's not a right for anybody that I should be there or I should be there. No, it's just a privilege. And you can learn a lot and represent our country. So we must understand that I don't believe for a fact that this selection committee has anything against anybody in this parliament. I don't believe that for a moment. So they did what they did under the circumstances at the best of their abilities, but we can give suggestions. Let's improve here, let's improve there. That's our responsibility. Until we arrive at a final list, we say, this is what we have agreed, all of us, we put the motion here, it passes, and then it becomes our own document that we actually keep here. Nothing against anybody. So let's work together. On that note, Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. We now have the Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will start by observations. The observation that I will make regarding the selection of members to various committees. We would have said there are methodology given when selecting a member for a particular committee. And among those methodologies, we have seen the background of that member, the political pluralism, and the gender representation. I believe this is the cream of the Gambian nation. We as the parliamentarians, we are representing the whole country in this, everybody in this country. So anything we are doing here, we should be sincere to ourselves. We must do selection to various committees with what we have laid down as rules and regulations, as methodologies. Now, if there is some element of biasness in terms of selecting from this house, what are we going to expect that the institution we have in oversight functions for? So I must acknowledge the process that has been taken by members of the selection committee, and they have taken their time to come up to this far and give us names. But notwithstanding, they need to do it proper and do it better. For this house represent Gambia. Yes, we would have said there are methodologies in terms of selecting members. One of those methodologies is by looking at the background information of that individual. It will be not fair enough for someone with a security background, with a master's and with LLB, to be answerable to someone who does not have a security background. We can work with him, provided that there is no sense of biasness that has been played within the selection process. But at this point in time, I would advise the selection committee to go and adhere to the principle and the grounds that they have laid as a way of, selection process. When it comes to the international delegations, we have seen some of the new members who foresee or who have the belief that the old members have taken advantage based on some benefits that has been, attributed of being a part of a certain committee on certain delegation on international matters. So we would have said, we the new members are your brothers and sisters. Teach us well. We the new members are your brothers and sisters. Teach us well and teach us manners that is going to represent the Gambia. We are all representing our constituencies, but above all, we are all representing Gambia as a nation. So let's do things in this assembly that will represent the best interests of Gambian people. Let us do something in this assembly that is going to make Gambian people proud that now that Gambia have a blessed National Assembly members that see Gambia and Gambia alone, the best interest of Gambia will be propagated here. But as of look of things, the way it has been started, we have seen some biasness in terms of selecting committee members in various committees. For example, I will take myself as an example. I'm a barrister in law. There are areas here, like subsidiary legislation committee. I believe my service will be more needed in this area than other areas. As a barrister in law, human rights and constitutional matters, I believe my service will be most needed in this area than other areas. As part of Security and Defense Committee, I believe, by virtue of the vast knowledge and experience I gathered for 15 years in that profession, would have put me in a proper footing to chair that committee. If I did not chair that committee, I would see there is biasness in it, and then sample upon, just to serve a particular purpose or interest group. Let us unify as Gambian, and we are representing Gambia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Busumbala. Membership of committees, chairmanships, vice chairs in Parliament is not you are answerable. Parliamentary committees work as one body. Chairman is just first among equals. So, and that's the spirit which we carry on. We now have the Honorable Member for Bunnung-Kakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I just want to make a comment concerning about the issues that we are discussing here. I think so far so good. Since in the morning we are discussing on the selection of committees. I think the moment we are all elected, we are already a leader. So being a chairperson or whatsoever is about teamwork. You know, teamwork is very, very important. And the one objective that we should have here is to impact the life of the Gambian people. By doing so, this is why we are elected here. So committees, you know, if we want to go by the normal, by choice, we can put ourselves where we want to. Because as for me, I have seen myself somewhere. I know I can do somewhere, but there are certain areas I know I can deliver there much. But, you know, we have to understand and do this thing as a teamwork, because the leadership is about a team that is behind you. If a leader succeeds, it's about the people who are behind you. So whatever the case is, let's just try and understand each other and, you know, move forward. Because at the end of the day, the people that send us here, they don't send us here to just, you know, go for leadership or whatever. For me, I'm already a leader in my constituency. So whatever I do here is just to do something that will impact the life and the aspiration of my people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Bunugakunda. We now have the Honorable Member for Ilyasa.
Thank you so much, Honorable Leader, Speaker, for giving me the floor. I want to join my honorable colleagues to strongly thank the committee for the job well done. Definitely, it is not easy, but definitely they have tried very well in the placing people at the rightful position. So far, the committee, it comprises of all the parties. So I think they have played an important role. For that being the case, everybody in the house here is so far given the opportunity to be in the one of the committees. So far, they have used criteria, and this criteria, it is very important so far that all the members of this National Assembly are best placed in the positions, and I think we will all serve better in our various positions, and we are definitely better placed. So as far as education is concerned, I'm definitely concerned, and I'll be very pleased if certain people in the house here are placed in that committee, because we need their expertise as far as education is concerned, because education is the backbone of the country. So far you have some people here whom you know that they will be very, 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 very good as far as education is concerned. People like the Honorable Member for Central Badibu. He was a seasoned teacher so far, and then he knows many things in the education. So obviously to have such people in the education committee, I think is very, 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 very important as far as education is concerned. But so far, I again thank the committee for the job well done. And I think definitely whoever is placed and whoever the position will do our utmost best to serve the Gambian people. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Iliasa. We now have Honorable Member for Nyamina West. Nyamina West.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to join my colleagues in thanking the Select Committee for a job well done. It is difficult, as they alluded, to satisfy. And to me here, it's not about the leadership that is important. What is important here is a tax given to us as citizens. And since we are all here to represent our various people, and as someone alluded, we are already leaders. We pass through election and we represent our people here. So we have a tax in hand. That is very important. Still now, I will commend the Select Committee on a job well done. For me, I am definitely satisfied on all the committees I saw myself, because I did not have a preference on each of these committees. Just here to make sure that I perform my duties to expectation. But in performing this duty to expectation, this will have to link me to the job I was doing in this parliament in the 5th legislation. And since that is the case, when we come to the method that the Select Committee was using, it's a very good method. The background of the members, political pluralism, the gender representation, which was very perfect. But my observation is that I think they would have also make a reference to the list of re-elected committees and the committees they belonged in the 5th Parliament, because we all know that there was a lot of work that we compiled here that was left, and definitely most of these newly elected members would have depended on us, or would have definitely expect a lot from us to take them through those files. So in such, if I happen to see myself into various other different committees of which I have not been a member before, and a lot of work, for example, I was doing with the Select Committee of Trade with regards to these prices and whatsoever. We have gone too far. We had a lot to complete, and suddenly to see myself off track, and I found myself loving that particular work, and I thought that I will accomplish something that will benefit the nation in one way or the other, just to see myself now in a new committee. Those are issues that you should have definitely looked into by taking the list of the select committees of the 5th legislative as a guide. But I think it was an oversight. But if not too late, still now, you can still now use it as a guide, so that in each of the committee, you will leave at least one person who was there in the 5th legislative. That's my observation. The other issue with the security issue, and Honorable Sidinjai, I don't think it's very relevant saying Honorable Sidinjai cannot be a chair in that committee, because looking into the matter, it's more of parliamentary procedure than going out there and performing the role of a security person. No, this is altogether procedures in the parliament. And this is why Honorable Sidinjai is taken to be part, or to be a member, or to be the chairman of that select committee, because you could understand he got the experience of the parliament. So that one, I'm not in for any side or let's say condemning Honorable Sidinjai as being a parliament or member. So I want to also say, Honorable Bundunga Kunda has said it all. We are here as one family and as Gambians. Once we get in, let us take party sides outside and we see how best we can work in union to see the Gambia move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamina West. Honorable members, that was the last name on the list. Unless there are any honorable members who may still want to contribute. Nobody? Honorable members. Who wants to contribute and has not contributed? Honorable members, may I now call upon the Honorable Majority Leader and member of the committee,
Honorable Speaker,
to respond to the issues raised and wind up the debate. Honorable Majority Leader, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I equally want to thank your humble self for the professionalism you've handled the deliberations in the chamber. Honorable Speaker, this is the first day of the 6th legislature in Parliament to put in ground footing as per our working tools, to put in place committees to keep the ball rolling, to pick up from where the 5th legislature stopped and pick it up from there to keep the ball moving.
Majority Leader, observation, please.
It's a
Is the majority allowing the observation?
responding on issues now, not debate.
Honorable member, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable Majority Leader.
No, my role is to respond, not to observe me.
Pardon?
I'm responding to issues, not to open debate.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Please continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We appreciate and value every single contribution, every single observation. You just help to enrich the job and make it more professional. As earlier alluded, these are 3 templates, or these are the 3 yardsticks the Committee of Selection did utilize: the political background, the general representation, and of course, the experience of each member. Going by the first speaker of Nyanija, I thank so much for committing the committee for a good job done. And of course, you know, you can never satisfy everybody. But of course, we appreciate your comments, and there is no much more you are further deliberating on. Member for Bakau, of course, he did observe and thank the committee on the selection of various committees, standing committee, and also select committee. He flagged the issue of the chairpersonship of defense and security issue. I want us to see ourselves as all honorable members. And as honorable members, we should be each brother's keeper, to entrust each other, to work hand in glove, to keep that brotherhoodness among us. This is the first day of assembly. We should talk to each other, not talk at each other. Responsibility is paramount. Chairpersonship of a committee is privileged. Once given, it's up to the membership to work with him, help him succeed, leadership doesn't really matter. What matters, you can be a member and debate extensively. Committee chairperson, you hardly debate. But I always want experienced one. Those that have exposure to be the members, to scrutinize ministers, to scrutinize policies. But the chairperson, you have limited role. Your there is to play as a referee. But if you have members who are well experienced and well exposed in security matters, they can come up with observations, counter opinions, on to make those committees work perfectly. So if you ask me, I would really appreciate the likes of Honorable Member for Busumbala, which is well exposed and well experienced, to be an active member, not as a referee, deliberating on who to give the floor, who to observe here, and who to observe here. But of course, let's give it a try. Membership of the committee will look. If anybody didn't perform the expectation, you are at liberty at any time, not really coming to the parliamentary plenary here to effect changes. So be rest assured, let's give each other a try. And secondly, also, we found him as member of the committee of the last parliament he served. So as being a member again, the experience counts. He has withdrawn his also foreign affairs representation. These are two political parties, the NRP and NPP. Well, the issue of Honorable Leah Sanyang being a chairperson of the subsidiary legislation. As I told you, the reason why the Select Committee identified chairpersons in various committees is to help the plenary not to violate standing order. We want to make sure that there is no duplication of chairperson in two Select Committee. The standing order has really frowned that if I remember of a chairperson of a Select Committee, you cannot be another chairperson again of that another Select Committee. That you are violating our own standing order. For the Committee of Selection, that is why we only aim at giving you chairperson in various committees, referencing on your other membership in other committees, so that the vice chairperson could be open to your committees. Once we are done here, you are going into your various committee to have a meeting with your membership and elect or select your vice chairpersons. But this issue of identifying chairperson was in the spirit not to avoid duplication, which is a violation of our standing orders. Member for Banjul South. Okay, member also talk about Gassama, Honorable Gassama, for being a member. It's now up to the honorable member to withdraw from a particular committee and put himself in the education committee. I think that has been the debate of the parliament. Your experience and your leadership style is really befitting, and therefore you have been attested by your vice chairperson that you should be on board. So preference will be given to you as how to vary in your various committee and giving more preference to education. Your experience is really needed in this particular committee. I cannot agree more on that suggestion. Going to the Banjul South, of course, issue about there is no independent factor. I think that's a mistake. There is Honorable Kebati Sane as a member of the Select Committee you are talking about. Secondly, frown about issue of ECOWAS delegation. I want us to understand, ECOWAS in other jurisdiction, these are separate members of parliament contesting for ECOWAS seat at the level of the constituency or national level. But in our own case, you contest as a member in your constituency and come here, these parliaments take the decision to send you there. Sorry. So sorry. So basically, the issue of ECOWAS membership or protocol cannot override. These are protocol, but cannot override our national laws. So the only authority, the only approving body to send you to ECOWAS is this national parliament. There is no any other article, there is no other tool that can override that. And of course, I will also refer the members to a particular letter given to you that dated on the 7th of January 2020, submission of names of Gambia representatives to the 5th legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament. The aforesaid delegation members are Honorable KKB, Kebake Baro, Honorable Samba Jallo, Honorable Mohamed Magasi, Honorable Tumanjai, and Matar Jen. Honorable Famaranjai, the aforesaid delegation was approved by a resolution of the plenary of the National Assembly of the Gambia in April 2017 to represent the National Assembly to the ECOWAS Parliament for the period of 2017 to 2022. And further reconfirmed by the Committee of Selection in its meeting on Monday, 6 January 2020. So it's not clear, mandate given to membership of ECOWAS is to serve for a period of 5 years and nothing else. Going to Honorable Member of Kiang East, he also did mention about his leadership, of course. I think we have thrust out that you could be a member in that area. And he also looked at the issue of gender representation in terms of committee. Parliament with only 5 female, it's barely impossible to have them in every select committee or in every standing committee. We did our utmost best to make sure they are adequately represented in committees. So that is the constraint the Parliament have. It's unfortunate, but of course we are also guided by what the party representation in the first committee. Member for Willie East also talked about on the Public Appointment Committee and also agrees that he could be more productive and more useful in that particular committee. And he looked at whether there is no APRC, but then his mind has been recalled that there's APRC in the delegation. And also the friendship group chairpersonship, which has been also alluded that the issue of nominated member from Majara also spoke and thanked the committee for a job well done and did some comment and clarifications and also response to concerns raised in Parliament. Member for Central Badibu is concerned about all members in the new committees. Why? Of course, we are of the firm belief that institutional memory is very important. Even though they are not only people who should be factored in the committee clerks are also there, having records of previous proceedings of various committee engagements. When they are there, they will help the new members in terms of settling down and making them understand what has transpired before them and where the committee has stopped. That is why the Parliament asked each and every select committee chairperson to make a handing over note and deposit it to your various committee clerks. So this could be used to really brief members, the new members coming, and give them ground footing and help them in terms of taking over new responsibilities as well. And he also alluded about issue of the Defense and Security Committee. I think I'll respond to that. And he also mentioned that the friendship group, of course, and the level of representations, and if agreed, could be discussed, who and who. But the friendship group are not only limited to this one. The friendship group could be added. If anybody feels that you are very good in China policy relations, there is no harm in submitting your name to be considered in the China friendship group. But if I also of the firm believe that you can also perform well in Turkey friendship group, the door is open, it's not closed. The friendship group could be added based on your expertise. But what we want to avoid is that to avoid duplication of membership in so many committees. That is fair. That is why the committee took its time to adequately fix you well. But then if I'm moving from a committee, a friendship group, you must also make sure you do a swap to come to that friendship group. And in so doing, we'll not have a member representing a friendship group 3 or twice a member to avoid that. Okay. The issue, Latrikunda Savaji highlighted the issue of chairpersonship. The select committee is mandated, according to the standing order, to propose chairpersons of various committees. And I told you the spirit is that to avoid double representation as chairperson of other committees. So if we are doing that, we are trying to make sure that we will not really flag our own standing orders. That is why we end at giving chairperson in select committee, allowing them to dissolve in their various committee to elect or select their various chairpersons. Oh, Combo South also is concerned about the security issue in the area, and also create a concern that it should be of person with well experience and expertise. Be rest assured, coming from a fragile community doesn't really mean that you must be part of a particular committee. Parliament, any issues concerning your constituency, you are at liberty to come and send an issue to that committee and allow them for investigation. And also, he also proposed that education chairmanship or membership should also be given to Yaya Gassama, who has served as a member. And also cited on the supplementary protocol of 2016 on the ECOWAS delegation. But I want to assure you that those protocols cannot override our national laws. And also, the issue of the protocol you cited, the mandate given to you was approved by plenary and is the approving body to send delegation for a period of 5 years. And that has been done. And also, he also mentioned about the issue of Honorable Yaya Sanyang being an expert in construction company to be given privilege to man the monitoring committee. I think he has even stepped down to allow him chair that particular committee, if I'm right. Civil engineering, exactly. And also, he also did reiterate for Honorable Member Swaibu Ture to lead the Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters. I think Honorable Ture mentioned that he's contented with the leadership of Honorable Madi MK Sise to lead that particular committee. Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Willie East. Kian West reiterates the issue of the background, gender representation, that is too much of women in the gender committee. I can assure you, we don't want to have lesser women representation in that committee. And it is also a good practice to have them there, as alluded by another member, Memuna Sise. But also, it's also open as member of Upper Salon did reiterate that the pioneers who have been very much advocates of the gender committee, likes of member of Central Badibu, to be a member of it. Depends on the president approval as well. For Sami, the same issue reiterates the issue of the chairperson of the Defense and Security, and Honorable Kasama also on education. And virtually, these are main concern areas: the Education Committee, Kasama, the Defense Security Chairmanship, and others. Member for Janjambure also highlights about the lack of consultation in terms of the nomination of committee of selection of in the committee of selection. Well, I think that's at the level of the minority, and they have agreed to send this to the committee. And also in terms of youth and sport, he felt that there is no much number of youth that's been represented in the youth and sport committee. Not necessarily you have to be a youth to represent the youth and sport committee, but I can assure you there are very good people who have vast experience in sport, the likes of, I don't want to mention, but there are, you can find so many people who are even member of the previous select committee, like the current minority leader was the chairperson of sport committee in Parliament. And I can tell you, he's a doyen in that area, and he will represent the interest of the youth very well. Sabah Sanjal also made an observation that why the committees are headed by the old NAMs, particularly the external delegations. Of course, these are party representation. We allow the leaders to nominate from their various party and to come in and then feature in. So prerogative was given to that for them to best help the committee or delegation Like, for instance, in the area of Pan-African Parliament, Honorable Mbo was a member there, and he has been a very active member. So that is why I nominated from the side of majority to him to lead the delegation. But then those ones are more of party representation to factor in there. And you have independent candidate there, you have the APRC component there, you also have the NRP component there. Fonyim Bintang, talking about the select committee best fitted itself as opposed to new members. I think that is really a serious allegation. We did to the best of our ability to make sure that party representation counts, and also political pluralism, and also gender representation also counts. So therefore, there has nothing of such nature whereby trying to do favoritism or nepotism. We've actually take out of office that will ill health, ill will or affection, fear or favor, will not do anything that will contravene those out of office. So therefore, I think it's very early to start pointing fingers at each other or accusing each other for such act. That is it. And also, of course, we noted your contribution allowing Honorable Yahya Gassama to be part of the Health Select Committee. And it left to him to vary in how to bring in those submission from what committee to what committee. Fonyi Kansala also reiterates that he could be very effective in terms of education committee. But I can assure you, if you look at the Select Committee on Education, there are so many. This parliament is full with ex-teachers, headmasters, principals. So it's very, very difficult to satisfy all of them. So myself, I was a former lecturer before, but I'm not in the Select Committee on Education. I have to give way to others. So you have so many ex-runaway teachers, they call them rats. There are so many rats here that actually ran away from teaching field, and they are now here. So basically, likes of Honorable Sankun Damwa was a headmaster, and you have the Select Committee. Honorable Alfred Caesar was a member of the Select Committee before.
No rats here.
I've been runaway teachers in aviation. So basically, you have a handful number of teachers representing the Committee on Education. And believe me fervently, it will really be a very effective committee. And in fact, we're coming up with the member, former chairperson, Yahya Gassama, to represent, to be in a member committee, will really add value. Lower Salum, of course. Okay, member for Kansala also saw the interest in terms of his Islamic scholar background. Of course, it varies. I believe you are in one of the friendship group. It's left to you to leave a particular friendship group and swap to Saudi Arabia friendship group, which could be very much effective there. It's noted. Lower Salum, of course, thank you so much for the comments. We appreciate. And we believe that conscience will lead us in our deliberation, not issue of competing for chairpersonship or leadership in various committee. As alluded, everybody is already a leader leading your constituency from far and near. And he also made an observation. I think this was agreed that he will leave the Select Committee on Health to go to monitoring, and let Honorable Sise of Olyndum leave Select Committee on monitoring and come to health. So if it's agreeable among them two, you can swap there. So it's noted as well. Member for New Joshua constituency. Yeah, Joshua constituency. Well, was more of a comment and more of advice that it's not based on your chairpersonship that you can move a committee. Once you're a member, you can really move the mountain higher. And regardless of which year the committees, what's important is to see the nation first and work as a team. And it's too premature to be undoubting or try to downgrade each other's potentials, in various positions. I think that's the volume of your leadership. Nominated member, Honorable Kebalang Fofana, thank you for your observation. I think the issue of defense and security has been addressed, and the issue of leadership in terms of who sends who to the ECOWAS Parliament has also been adequately addressed. Foni Jarol, thank you for the advice that a leader should be more of listener and a learner. Of course, these are the qualities, I cannot agree with you more, that these are the qualities of a good leader. You must be able to listen and learn from each other. Nobody has the iota of knowledge. Nobody has, everything in terms of experience and knowledge. You must be willing to learn from each other and to make sure, allow the led to educate the lead one. Another member for Nyamina Dankunku, concerned about his membership in FPAC and monitoring in previous parliaments. And he thought it wise, it could be prudent to have him in this committee. But I tell you, it's always important to experience new committees. It's an on-the-job training. Nobody was an expert in terms of parliamentary oversight functions. When I came here, I was fixed in trade. I had no background in trade, but I learned a capture, and I was privileged to be the vice chairperson. But now I'm no more there. I'm also ready to take a different challenge again. So it's a difficult task given to you, and you must be ready and ready to take up the responsibility and trusted in you to go and pioneer and make difference in another committee, as you have done justice to FPAC and monitoring. So being a new committee that you did not serve in the previous legislature is, to me, is a challenge for you to go and break the silence there. So basically, I have no objection to that. And I told you the reason why we selected chairpersonship is to avoid to flout the standing order, whereby a member is already a member in the select committee, a chairperson there, and also a chairperson. If they regroup again and do the selection again, there's every tendency one of these such mistakes could be committed. So to avoid such, we allow the select committee to look at those things, cross-referencing them, to see that there is no duplicate of chairpersonship in this committee. And most importantly, every member is a member of to 3 minimum and maximum 4 committee, and that has been really looked at. Very few, 1 or 2 membership are either 5. So this is really unavoidable. And also, I think another member for Willie East has allayed your fear that clause 98 does give right that to say that I am being approved by the plenary, you cannot be removed if you are found incompetent. You could be removed, not even coming to plenary. At level of your committee, I've done that. We've done that. We've selected our new chairperson in our committee level. Environment also has done that without coming to plenary. So your fears are allayed. If you see anybody who is not really moving the committee well to the best of your interest and the Gambian interest, you are at liberty to change. Brikama South. Yeah, but rest assured, the committee clerks will be there to help settle the members. And also, he also asked whether the ones that are not for parliamentary approval, is it everything? If you look at the list, there are asterisk ones. The comment that will be asterisks, those ones are not tantamount or subjected to plenary approval. So I think that has answered your question. The issue of which committee are not subjected to parliamentary approval. The committee you have there that are having asterisks, does not require parliamentary approval. Talindin Kunjang. Yes, I think the issue of security has manifested, committee leadership, and of course gender. I want to appeal that we leave the number of women there. We can do the proposal made by members of Lower Upper Salum to bring in additional men, but not to really reduce the membership from that committee as far as it's concerned. So basically, the member for Upper Salum has made suggestion that the pioneers, the foreigners,
of this gender issue in Parliament were member of Senator Badibu, and he could really also help in terms of moving the committee forward. All Yundum was more of clarity to avoid replica of what has happened already. And Fladugu, Upper Fladu West, more of comments. Nyani also, security committee was an issue, and experience and then background. The rest assured, we have really considered experience because of the members' experience in the last parliament, and of course currently, will really help move the committee forward. Member for Sunny Mentoring, general presentation in committee. Of course, I told you we are really constrained with a number of women in the chambers, so obviously wouldn't have getting more than this. But rest assured, they are really factored in different committees. And issue of leadership also, as I told you, is at the prerogative of the committee. If you go there, if you think that you are deemed fit to chair a particular committee, it depends on how you can lobby your members to give you that opportunity to lead. However, the selection committee did propose leadership on various committees and delegations to make sure that they head those things. Madi, why Honorable Madi Sise is not heading the ACP EU? Yes, Honorable Madi Sise was member of the selection committee, and likewise, Honorable Abla Sise, we are both members of the selection committee. So I think it was agreeable at the level of the selection committee to do that. Combo East, yes, the same issue. The independent and delegation, or internal delegations, these were based on party representation, and we are giving preference to them. And he also gave a justification that is very much of faith in terms of financial issues, and is deemed it fit to be part of the FPAC. Well, I told you there was a party representation. Your party has been fully captured. If they think they can give way to you to come in there, it's always open. But so your expertise does not really rely on only their membership. You could come in there as an observer to the committee at any time, sit and also give your blessings. This membership is meeting of committees also are open to members to come and attend. If you think that you are well experienced, you are exposed, you can really help the committee move, nothing stop you from attending their meeting and give your expert advice. So I think that could really help in your situation. Banjul North are concerned about his membership in international delegation. I told you not everybody will factor in the delegation. These are only 6, and the rest are friendship group. However, you are a member of a friendship group. If you think that you are best at China delegation, you can see how best you could swap and come and leave a particular friendship group. So that answers the question. I think already you are in Franco-Gambia parliamentary friendship group as well. That is the French, anyway. Nominated member Maimuna Sise, more of a comment, giving the women the priority to lead there, to reduce their numbers, as it is a women thing, and they think they are well off in that committee. They are not also opposed to bringing men, but to reduce their figures, this should be avoided. Salum, of course, applauded the select committee for a job well done. It's never easy to satisfy everybody, but I think what we did was best to our ability and interest of this country. And of course, he even helped me in answering some of the concerns raised in Parliament in terms of composition about membership of ECOWAS and what have you. And make some proposal about Honorable Suleiman Saho, and of course, Honorable Member of Kiang East. Busumbala, yes. Issue about the leadership is not about answerability here in Parliament, but it's about collective responsibility given to you as committee. So I believe with your background in law, with your experience also in the security sector, you could be of help. That was why, in fact, the more reason why you factored in that Committee of Defense. We couldn't have any more better candidate than you to be there.
but your experience there could really help the committee move forward. So irrespective of who leads, it's about the spirit of teamwork. Let's see ourselves as honorable of Parliament, and let's see ourselves as the foreigners of Parliament. You could contribute effectively, you could help the committee move on, you could also support the committee based on your legal background. I meant to understand that you are a barrister and also worked at the security sector for 15 years. And this is a very good experience of you, and I think you could make a difference in that particular committee. Issue about Bunu Akunda was, of course, general comment on leadership. Of course, we are all leaders in our various constituencies. That is why we are here. If you look at nobody's called by a party tag here, we are members of parliament from constituencies. What it dictates that national interest should really supersede the personal interest or personal position as well. So therefore, I concur with you. I cannot agree with you more on this than to say that yes, it's not about who leads, but it's about how to work effectively to move the committee to achieve three main responsibilities: the oversight, legislation, and representation as well. Ilyasa, well, more of thanking the committee. It's not a good job. It's not an easy job to make sure you split members of parliament into different committees, standing committees. It's not an easy task. You look into very broad things. You look at the background, you look at the political pluralism, you look at also the experience. So it's not easy. So thanks so much for appreciating our effort. That leadership is not really easy. Nyamina West constituency. Issue about the trade committee. Yes, as I told you, you might be very much good at trade. He was a member of trade, but we ensure that the institutional memory stays. Honorable Keba Jallo was the rapporteur to the committee, and in terms of being a rapporteur, you are already an institutional memory of the committee. So we deem it fit to allow him there. Myself, I'm no more there. Honorable Sise is no more there, and you are no more there. We believe that it's a challenge. You could go and perform better in other committees. Already, you've already created a passion for the job. We agree. But already, the committee was really with the mind that it's important to leave at least one. And in fact, that one has already been proposed to be the chairperson of the select committee. So I think that brings me to the end of the response. I want to sincerely thank each and every one of us. This is not an easy job, and we also want your cooperation and collaboration to move this institution of parliament forward. You cannot satisfy all, but let us appreciate this thing as a starting point and see ourselves. Let's talk to each other. Let's not talk at each other. Let's be each other's brother keeper. Let's work harmoniously and see that the committee is yours. Everybody have it in mind. This select committee is mine. So once we work in that spirit, definitely, regardless of who leads, will be very insignificant. So I thank you so much. This is the first session of the assembly. Let's keep the spirit. Let's keep the unity. With strength and unity and consensus building, we'll move forward. Your minority leader and deputy minority leader has done utmost best to make sure that your party representation is factored. And that was why it was a very smooth ride for us to arrive at the decision. And it's always important for us to appreciate. I want to thank the minority leader for his collaboration and understanding in terms of fitting in his various members in those committees. I wouldn't do justice without also thanking the committee clerk, the officer clerk, and the committees that really help us. So that will thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Majority Leader, for your brilliant summation of issues raised and effective response to members' concerns. Equally, let me also thank honorable members for your contributions on this particular issue. As chairman of the committee, I must thank both sides of parliament, and I can assure you, during deliberations at this committee, they dealt with it maturely, bearing always in mind the supreme interests of our people and whom they represent. So thank you all. I now put the question.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I want to thank the majority leader with that marathon responses. But Honorable Speaker, I think issues raised by honorable members are very valid, particularly the select committees, their chairpersons. I want to remind the House, when we came 2017, we allowed the committee members to make selection of their leaders, and we didn't have any problem. It was so democratic. It was very democratic. So, right, you made a good choice to choose people or recommend people to be our chairpersons. But
Honorable member, you are taking us back.
I'm not taking you back.
Yes, we have just raised those issues, Honorable member, if you, from your own contributions, you see, we have about a lot of committees. You ask each of the committees to select their chairperson and vice chairperson. Can bring in a lot of complications and duplications. The majority leader said it. I am in education. I may nominate him for chairmanship and the other one for vice chairmanship. From the same, probably from different political parties. You go to health, the best there may be the same political parties, it may be one political party. It can occur, and you may have omissions on gender. You will not know until after the committees are selected. So it is fair enough for the committee of selections to propose these things to you. If at the committee level you feel somebody is not efficient, you can invoke this relevant section of the standing orders and do what you need to do. So, honorable members, I now put the question on the report. Be it resolved that this honorable assembly do adopt the report of the Committee of Selection on the nomination of membership to committees of the National Assembly and international parliamentary delegations with amendments for the period 2022 to 2027. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. No. The ayes have it.
Count. It's a no, let's us do a hand count.
Honorable Clerk.
Let us count.
It goes with the amendment, is that?
Ignoring honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Order 54, Clause 1 of the Standing Orders of the National Assembly, I rise to move this August Assembly to stand adjourned. Stand I move the motion. Honorable Speaker, I would like to give the Assembly a brief of what has transpired during the second ordinary session, which is also commonly known as the inaugural session of the 6th Legislature in 2022 legislative year for the period 14 April to today, 25th of April. During this session, we witnessed the election of both the Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Deputy Speaker, and the administrator of oath by members. May I use this opportunity to congratulate you, the Right Honorable Speaker, on your election as Speaker. Indeed, you are no stranger to this chamber, and we are most pleased and hopeful of tapping from your rich experience and benefiting from your guidance. In the same vein, I wish to congratulate the Deputy Speaker and all honorable members on winning the trust and confidence of Gambians to serve in this noble institution of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, earlier today we consider and adopt the records of votes and proceedings of National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 14th April 2022, considering the nature of this session, which could only be described as inaugural session. For the 6th legislature, we had not considered any bill or oral question for ministers. Honorable Speaker, earlier today, we consider and adopt report of the Committee of Selection on the nomination of members to various standing and select committees of the Assembly, international delegation, and parliamentary friendship groups. On a final note, as this August Assembly considered the motion to adjourn and I wish to seize the opportunity to express sincere thanks to our electorate for the trust and confidence they continue to have in us in this August Assembly, especially in the dawn of the widely professed New Gambia. I wish to assure them, on behalf of all members, that we shall continue to strive to live up to expectation by pursuing the supreme interests of the people of the Gambia without fear or favor or party affiliation. As we begin to enjoy our experience and professionalism guidance, Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank you for the delicate manner in which you have handled the affairs of this August Assembly today, and pray to Allah, the Almighty, grant you the strength and wisdom to continue to steer the affairs of this Assembly. In our service to the people of the Gambia, to my honorable colleagues, I salute you all for your foresight, dedication, patience, and understanding, especially in considering the motion on the report of the Committee of Selection on the nomination of membership in various committees. Duty well executed. I'd also register special thanks and gratitude to the clerk and the staff of National Assembly Service for all the support and service rendered to honorable members during this session, while looking forward to your continued excellent services. I did say we are grateful. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
So, adjourn without debate.
No. No. Amadou, stop that. Amadou, please.
After the adjournment of this session, the office of the clerk will make suitable arrangements for proper induction before the next ordinary session. This will give new and returning members the opportunity to learn or refresh ourselves on parliamentary processes and procedures. Honorable members, the Assembly now stands adjourned, sine die.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonics Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonics Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.